Until now, we introduced the thought to reality loop and brought awareness to the power of your words. The realization that every thought you think, belief you hold, and word you speak are seeds that act as instructions that your mind and body will do their best to make real is a huge breakthrough. You now understand that in order to create lasting change in those results, you must return to the starting point, your thoughts and beliefs. But where do these actually even come from? Today, we're going to dive into your brilliant mind and specifically into your subconscious, as that is where your beliefs live, which determine the limits of the reality that you experience. What we call the mind is actually made up of two parts. You have the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. Your conscious mind is what you're using right now. It's the thinking, logical, analytical mind. It processes information, makes decisions, sets goals. Anytime you're choosing what to do, what to say, where to go, you're operating from your conscious mind. Here is where you get to choose what information you want to accept and what information you want to reject. This is where you hold the power to choose what thoughts you want to feed and entertain. And here's the wildly fascinating part. Your conscious mind only makes up about 5% of your daily thoughts, feelings, behaviors, and actions. A common analogy for the mind is the example of an iceberg. The conscious mind representing only that small visible tip that you see above the water. And the other 95% is the invisible part beneath the deep ocean surface. That is your subconscious mind. It's the storage or operating system for habits, memories, emotions, traumas, creativity, imagination, and especially it is here where your beliefs live. The subconscious runs the show quietly in the background on autopilot. You're just doing things, but you're not consciously aware of it. Basically, it's just a happening. Things like brushing your teeth, getting dressed, maybe your drive to work. You don't need to think about it. You've done it so often, it's automatic. But also how you react to a trigger, a memory, or the emotional patterns that you repeat in your relationships is when you're operating from your subconscious. Think of your subconscious mind as your default program. Every time you expand, for example, by setting a new goal or stretching beyond your current comfort zone, your mind will try to autocorrect, acting like a thermostat to return you to your familiar zone. Your mind and body are always trying to protect you, to keep you safe, based on the current beliefs that you hold. So, to clarify the difference between thoughts and beliefs is that your daily thoughts you have active control over. You get to choose them as they live in your conscious mind. Your beliefs that live in your subconscious beneath the surface are the ones we generally are not aware of, as they reflect the unconscious default program playing itself out on repeat. Your beliefs are here to help the mind make sense of how reality works. But beliefs are learned. They are interpretations. They are stories that we accept as true for ourselves, other people, and the world. Notice how I say stories, not actual or factual truth. The most common way beliefs are formed is through the environment that you grew up in. Strong emotional experiences through repetition, messages from authority figures, and survival strategies designed to keep you safe. So let's dive deeper to understand the importance our early childhood had on forming our beliefs and internet programming, specifically between birth and around age 7. Until then, your conscious mind, the analytical, logical, thinking mind, hasn't formed yet. So your subconscious is wide open, At that time, your brain is basically like a sponge, absorbing everything from parents, teachers, friends, TV, or culture. As a child, you're not filtering any incoming information yet. If someone told you to be quiet, be a good girl, stop screaming, or that money doesn't grow on trees, a healthy marriage doesn't exist, you take in these statements, ideas, or feelings as truth, where they get stored as beliefs in your subconscious mind and your nervous system. Not only the words that were spoken, but also what you observed, what was unspoken but felt. Like, for example, parents always fighting or struggling with money created beliefs that sunk into your subconscious. As babies and children, we are extremely sensitive and receptive to our environment and often absorb so much more than meets the eye. And then, later in life, even when we technically or logically know better, those beliefs are still running in the background, quietly shaping how you think, feel, and act. That means your inner programs from childhood are impacting your current outcomes and results. And here's why this is so important to reflect on. What you were told as a child sets the limits of what you believe is possible for yourself today. It influences what you think you deserve, what risks you're willing to take, and what dreams you allow yourself to chase. It even determines the kind of relationships you get into, the jobs you apply for, or the money you believe you can earn. Your beliefs basically create this invisible bubble of what is possible for you. And anything that is outside the limits of your current beliefs, what you think is unrealistic, you will not be able to reach just because it's not in alignment with your current subconscious program. And the real kicker is that most of the time, we are not even aware that we are running on a program in the first place. For example, a child who didn't receive touch or felt ignored might grow into an adult who believes, I'm not important, I'm not loved. And later on, that person might struggle to speak up in meetings or attracts relationships where they feel overlooked. Not because that's what they actually want, but because of their deeply ingrained beliefs, their default program, that keep them within their familiar zone. Now, on the other hand, a child given love and praised, encouraged with, you can do anything you set your mind to, you are amazing, will also carry that programming forward. Will take greater risks, probably develop a greater confidence, and spot opportunities others don't see. All because they have a deeper level of self-worth. Their results across the board, from relationships to finances to job, in general, are going to reflect a better result simply because of their base default programming. Reflecting on and bringing awareness to your childhood, how you were raised, or the environment even that you were raised in, to look at your beliefs is pivotal in recognizing what default program you are currently running on. It can help shed insight into why you are the way you are, and often explains patterns in your current results. Until you start questioning your beliefs, you remain tuned into your autopilot program, which is a compilation of information that you've absorbed over your entire lifetime. Not just what you consciously choose to engage with, but your parents' behavior, schooling, environments, music, movies, even the advertisements that you see. Everything you interact with is shaping you on a much, much deeper level than most people are aware of. So let's make this practical. Here is a quick exercise I want to do right now. Close your eyes and think about an area of your life where you feel stuck. Maybe it's relationships, money, career, health, creativity. Have something in mind? Okay, now ask yourself, what stories do you tell yourself about this area of life? What belief might be sitting underneath this? What were the messages you received as a child about this area of life? Can you identify why your younger self adopted that belief? Let's look at 3 examples. If you're always struggling financially, maybe the belief money is hard to make was dominant in your childhood. And if you believe that, whether consciously or unconsciously, you are still behaving and acting on that belief today and will reproduce the equivalent result. If you keep attracting the wrong partner, maybe your parents didn't give you the care you needed and you form the belief, I'm not worthy of love, therefore creating the same pattern to confirm your subconscious belief. Or what many of us, especially women, including myself, can relate to is that if you grew up as a people pleaser, maybe you were loved with conditions or taught to give others first. This underlying fear of rejection will continue feeding the belief that your needs are not as important, keeping you stuck repeating that same pattern. Take the time before moving on to the next video to reflect on your beliefs, your upbringing, your automatic behaviors, thoughts, and patterns. And then ask yourself, is this belief, this storyline, really true? Every belief and pattern you hold is not really you. It's just an experience that imprinted on you and you've adopted it. There does not need to be blame, shame, or any judgment about the patterns that you don't like about yourself because they're not random. They are the result of your experience of life. Once you bring your subconscious beliefs to the surface and become more aware, they're no longer hidden, then you can start to change, rewrite, and upgrade them. Here is the mental reframe. Just because you believe something does not mean it's true. Beliefs are just stories that you accepted as true for yourself. But they're not fixed. They change when you change the story in your mind. The beliefs you currently hold are a reflection of your programming, and programs can be rewritten.